Thomas and Friends has been around for over 75 years, and in that long space of time, the brand has produced a countless number of books, games, movies, and of course, episodes. Now, which episode is the best has been a hot debate among fans for many years. Some would argue The Flying Kipper, while others may prefer Rusty and the Boulder. I personally believe that Thomas and the Special Letter is one of, if not the greatest Thomas and Friends episode ever. The episode is mainly an ensemble story, but does show events from Thomas's point of view. It centres around a young girl writing a letter to the Fat Controller, asking if Thomas and all of his friends can come and visit her in the big city. Unfortunately, a few days before they are about to leave, Thomas gets caught up in an accident which leads to him needing to be repaired. Luckily he is fixed, and our main cast get to visit all of their fans over in the big city. Now, why do I think this is the best episode? Well, allow me to explain. Reason 1. The atmosphere. One of the most important factors in a Thomas and Friends episode is its use of tone and atmosphere to create certain emotions within its audience. Whether it be the haunting and spooky visuals in Haunted Henry to strike chills down its audience's spine, or the intense music to give a sense of dread and urgency in Toby and the Flood, all episodes aim to have their audience feel a certain emotion by the time the story is finished. Thomas and the Special Letter provides a feeling of warmth, coziness and security. It's the perfect episode to come up to after a rough day at school or work on a cold winter's night in order to get your spirits up. It achieves this with its diverse use of friendly characters that we've seen before, having the characters joke around and have banter, its beautiful, bright visuals and of course, the happy-go-lucky music that we all know and love. All these combined help the audience to forget about the outside world just for a moment and focus on a simple, happy story about a large group of trains all preparing for a trip to the big city. This episode also makes the audience feel as though they are a part of the story. It does this by having one of the main events in the episode be the Fat Controller reading out a letter from a little girl who lives in the big city, asking for Thomas and his friends to please come and visit her. This makes the audience feel involved in the story, as back then, and still to this day, children want to meet Thomas, and there will be many children who have written letters to Thomas and his friends in the past, and given them to parents. This allows the audience to believe that they are a part of the story, and it was their letters that brought Thomas and his friends to the big city. It also adds to the believability factor of the island of Sodor being a real place that people can come and visit, which keeps the kids engaged in the show and continue to tune in for more episodes. Reason 2. The characters. As I mentioned before, the diverse cast of friendly characters complements the warm, cosy aesthetic that this episode was going for. In this episode, there is no conflict between any of the characters. We are just shown pure peace and happiness with characters such as Mavis and Boko being diesel engines, but nobody calling them out on it. This helps the audience forget about the outside world's view on race, sexuality, or anything else that makes us different from what the general public perceives as normal. When Thomas crashes, nobody's happy or laughs at him. We see that they are all sad as Thomas may lose his opportunity to visit the big city and explore the world around him, which he has so desperately wanted to do for years. Everybody also celebrates when they find out who is mended just in time. We also see characters helping each other, such as Thomas showing Oliver how to pull the coaches, and who could forget about the cheering noises at TATMR sheds and this line of dialogue that everyone says in unison at the end.
Look out, big city, here we come!
The use of the pronoun we suggests that no character sees this as their own personal adventure to the big city, but they see it as their groups. It shows that they view themselves as a team, not just multiple individual vessels. In a way, it shows how characters have grown and developed over the seasons, with the likes of Gordon, James, Thomas and Henry not thinking about just themselves and acknowledging and supporting their fellow engines around them. It makes the audience feel proud of them, even if they are just fictional characters on a TV screen. Reason 3. Morals. I personally believe that Thomas and the Special Letter teaches kids one of the most important morals that they will need for later life. Resilience. We see that everything is going well for Thomas during the start of the episode. However, he makes a mistake that leads him to potentially not being able to go to the big city. Luckily, Thomas is repaired in time and is ready to go with everyone else. This moral is important to kids as it shows that yes, not every day is going to be perfect. There will be times when you slip up and miss out on things because of it. However, things always turn out well in the end, you just have to be resilient. Some episodes, such as the Flying Kipper and Edward's exploit, do show this theme in more depth, but I prefer this one, as it explores the theme of friendship and how your friends and family will always have your back. This was what made Thomas so special back in the day, unlike other kids' shows which would ram the moral down your throats so hard that it would be impossible to relate the events of that episode in real life. Thomas subtly told its audience the moral, without force-feeding it to the kids watching, so that it required them to think about what they had just watched and not make the same mistakes. So, there you have it. Those are my 3 reasons on why Thomas and the Special Letter is a masterpiece and my personal favourite episode. This episode has always been a go-to for me, and I imagine other fans when feeling down. All the factors I've just mentioned really help to lift its spirits of its audience. Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed this video. I would really appreciate if you left a like on this video and check out my other content while you're here. Also, while you're at it, leave a comment. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on this episode, and what your favourite Thomas story is and why. And with that, this is the Sudrian Studios signing off.